The rise in cases of lead exposure among children under 6 years is fast becoming a health and environmental concern, which experts say must be urgently addressed. A workshop held for small-scale paint manufacturers in Lagos focused on how to reformulate lead paints and adopt alternative ways by which to completely eliminate the environmental health risks. Correspondent Esther Omopariola reports.
Lead is a toxic metal that causes adverse effects on humans, their health and the environment. While lead exposure is also harmful to adults, lead exposure harms children at much lower levels, and the health effects are generally irreversible and can have lifelong impact. According to the World Health Organization, lead poisoning accounts for about 0.6% of global burden of diseases, and it is listed as one of the top 10 diseases whose health burden among children is due to modifiable environmental factors.
You still need to see lead.
To this end, a workshop was held for small-scale paint manufacturers who are susceptible to using lead to produce brightly colored paints, to train them on reformulation techniques and other alternatives to adopt so as to completely eliminate the use of lead in paints in the country.
So we want to capture the small and medium enterprises, which are the main majority in Nigeria, to say we can produce paint without these lead additives. We can get the same opacity, we can get the same kind of products without necessarily using leaded additives, because alternatives are available, less poisonous or zero toxic alternatives are available.
This is very important because if we are not prepared, we're not informed about it, it becomes difficult when the law will come to stop us from from operating. So it's to guard against that insanity that can come into the system.
As part of recommendations, the federal government must draft a regulation that will ban the manufacture, import, sale and use of paints that contain lead exceeding the global standards.
There's the challenge of high tariffs. The paint manufacturers are really complaining that, yes, the alternatives are available, but perhaps by the time the exchange or reformulation happen, most of the alternatives are a little bit more expensive than the current leaded compound. So the campaign we are going to make to the federal government is alternative leaded products with high tariffs will be reduced.
Household and institutional consumers were asked to demand paints with no added lead from paint manufacturers and retailers, as well as full disclosure of a paint product's content. Esther Omopariola, TVC News, Lagos.